Okay, welcome, guys. This is Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Junior Frederick, and you are now tuned in to the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to go from bland to industry leading brand. If you are now tuning in, I need you to do two things. Number one, put some flames in the chat. Number two, let us know where you're listening in from. We have an absolutely phenomenal show for you today. It's going to be about branding, and I have with me the king of branding himself. So when you're ready, Mr. Shaan Rais, come out. Let's have some fun.
Have some fun. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm here. Good morning.
Good
Absolutely
morning. Good morning.
phenomenal. Good morning.
Yes, sir. How you feeling?
Bro, I couldn't feel better, man. I've been up since I don't even know. I don't even know if I went to sleep last night, man. That's how excited I am.
Wow.
I'm a ball of energy, brother.
Yes,
Fiery
sir.
passion. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Speaking of which, I want to do a quick energy check. So, guys, if you are tuning in, I want you to put it in the chat. What is your energy? What is the
Yeah.
energy like
What's the energy in the room?
on a scale of 1 to 10? 10, of course, being the highest. Put it in the chat. What is the energy in the room? I see we have some people here. I see Kimberly. Kimberly, phenomenal morning to you. All right. I see that's that Birmingham. So Birmingham, Alabama. Kimberly, welcome. Good morning. I see Michelle. Michelle is from Detroit. Good morning. Who else? I see Ty. So Taisha Jackson. Ty says
Energy on
10.
10. Let's go.
Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca. Good morning. Good morning. 10, 10, 10. So I see all 10, Shan.
Very
All
good.
10.
Very good.
All
Energy
right.
is so significant, so important for today.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the energy in a bit when we come back from the break. But guys, I want you to put it in the chat. If you've been watching Breakfast with the Brand for some time, I want you to put it in the chat. What is one thing that you've taken away from the show so far? What would be one powerful lesson? I know that there have been
Mm,
multiple lessons, but if you had to select one powerful lesson, just one, what would that be?
wow,
What would that be? Yeah.
that's a good one. That's
By the way, Sean, are we giving away? I heard we were giving away money today.
of course. Of
We're
course we
giving
are.
away money
Yeah,
today.
why not? Yeah, I want to keep it going. I want to keep it going. I love engagement. I like high levels of intensity, high levels of energy. And it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so as long as they showing up, we showing up, $100 going to show up for somebody.
Yes. Who won the last time? I think Michelle won. I think who was it? It was Michelle.
Kiana
Kiana,
won.
yes, Kiana. Kiana won the last
Michelle
time.
was super close. Michelle was super close.
Yes, she
Super
was.
close. So she got something extra, right? We sent it was okay. We sent two people some money. Listen, guys, as long as you show up and you on time, I want to help you win. Business is the way to win. Branding is the way to win. We're gonna help you. We're going to help you with a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of incentive to show up and share the podcast. Listen, as a matter of fact, do that now. Like share the podcast, share this with somebody. Because you never know. You bring 5 people, one of them win, you might get some money. You'll be able to put that in half, slice that in half, slice that pie. So share the podcast, let it go, give it to somebody else, try to help somebody else in their business, in their brand to create a better economy of scale.
Yes, sir. Definitely. So, guys, definitely smash that like button. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button. So, like, comment, subscribe, like,
Oh, yeah,
comment, and share. All right.
definitely.
So if you've done that, put a number one in the chat. If you've liked the wherever you're viewing it, whether it be LinkedIn, shout out to LinkedIn, whether it be LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, if you've put in your like and your share, I want you to put a number one in the chat. And by the way, you don't know why, for what um reason we're giving away the money. So you definitely wanna hit the like, hit the share, and put a little comment in the chat. Right. So while we wait for those ones to come in, Shan, today I think when we come back, we're gonna be talking a little bit about branding. It's been a little while since we've touched on the subject
Hmm.
of branding, which is very that's what we do. That's what we do. So I
That's
find
right.
it very way we haven't spoken
That's the
about it. We haven't really
foundation. The
covered it.
foundation is the brand.
Yes. All right. So I see Ty. So Ty has definitely liked, subscribed. She has shared. Let's see who else.
Very good. Very good. Share the love. Share the love. Give it to somebody else. Give it to somebody else. There's nobody on the planet that doesn't need to know more about branding, leadership, coaching, personal and professional development. No one on the planet, especially when it's done the right way. Right. So it's very important that people get it from a multifaceted perspective.
Yes, that is 100% right. And like we know, everybody has a brand. You already have a brand.
Hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
only question is, are you going to choose to recognize what you already have? Guys, we'll be back after the short break. Put your ones in the chat. Let's grow.
Let's grow.
Right, guys, welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Junior Frederick. If you are now tuning in live, please put some flames in the chat. Also, let us know where you're listening in from. So I have with me Shaan Rais. What's up?
Hey man, I'm just excited to get into it. I'm ready to get into it and dispel the myth when it comes to the brand, right? The real brand, like what that means, what it entails. I'm excited. I stay excited. That's the
Yes,
brand.
sir. All right. Before we sort of dive into that, let me just say, um, ever since I've started my journey with this brand, we have our own culture, we have our own language. Um, so, for example, if you ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm absolutely phenomenal, no complaints, and that's the way I am, and I don't only that's how I am in both areas, like online, offline. If you meet me
That's right.
offline, that's the way I am. Online, the same thing. And the people on island, people that know me, they've started copying me. For example, when I say absolutely phenomenal, like this person, you normally normal people when you ask them how they're doing, they say, "Oh, I'm good, I'm all right," all right, like low energy. But then, so they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm absolutely phenomenal. What about you? They're like, "What? What are you talking? Like, what are you
That's
talking
right.
about?" absolutely phenomenal. But after some time, after they hear it for some time, they start to understand. And once somebody asked me, how can you be phenomenal? I said, it's a choice. You choose to be phenomenal. So
That's
what
right.
are you gonna choose to be sleepy, or lackadaisical, or are
Yeah.
you rather choose to be phenomenal? So I just wanted to put that out there and show you the power of branding. So from this branding phenomenal, to even people on the island here starting to use the terminology phenomenal, to show you the
Let's
power
go.
of branding.
Let's
So I
go.
just wanted to put that out there, guys. Put some flames in the chat
There you
if you
go.
feel like that's powerful.
That's right. That's right. Right.
Yes, sir.
And culture and energy, right? So energy is conveyed or conducted. Look at the brand as a conductor. You look at a brand as a conductor for your morals, values, and principles, energy, language, culture. The brand is a conductor. It's conducive. It's literally like a conduit. So from my mindset and culture, living the life, right? And the standards that I set, standards of excellence. When you come into this culture, that's what you get. Absolutely phenomenal every single time. High levels of energy every single time. And it starts with you as the brand. It starts with you as the individual. So when Junior came in, there was something that he was introduced to, a brand, a phenomenal brand, and a phenomenal energy. Now that phenomenal energy has begun to resonate and implant itself on other people on that island. Just think about the power. Think about the power of an idea and what happens if you hold on to it.
Yes, sir. And this sort of segues into my first question. Like this whole topic, um, a lot of people, they don't really understand what branding is. I was having a conversation yesterday evening, and somebody was telling me, well, I do courses, I do this, I do that. So I see a lot of people, everybody has a course, but not everybody has a brand.
Join the crowd.
Everybody has a course, everybody's a coach, but not everybody's a brand. Not everybody's branded. And it is so powerful that it begins to spread. They don't see, in fact, they see phenomenal. They can't visually see it,
Mm.
like put a finger on it, they can feel it. And that leads to my first question, which is really, what is brand?
What is brand? So brand is intangibles. It's the energy. It's the magic, man. Like brand is the magic. It's the magic, man. It's the magic, man. Like brand is the magic. It's the energy. It's the pop. It's the sizzle. It's the sizzle that doesn't fizzle. For real, it's the sizzle that doesn't fizzle for shizzle. No, I promise you, the brand is the magic. It's the energy. It's the pop. It's the flair. It's the passion. It's the purpose. The brand is, man, I got up at 1:30 this morning. 1:30. And I laid down for a second. Nope. Up at it. Up at it. Because I'm so passionate about what I do, who I serve, how I show up, how they show up. Right. So I'm so committed. That's the brand. That's the passion. That's the energy. When someone comes across it, they know it. When someone comes across it, they feel it. When you walk into the room, they feel your brand. I promise you, if you're lackadaisical, lazy, tired, that's a feeling too. The only question is, do you lift the room or do you bring the room low? Do you lift the room? Does your brand lift the room? When people hear your name, does it lift the spirit or does it sink the spirit? You know how you go to a family reunion? You know how you go to a family reunion or go to a
Yeah.
barbecue or something and they say Uncle so-and-so is showing up and everybody's like, oh, that's the
Yes.
brand.
Yep.
That's a brand. Everybody like, oh, this guy gonna come is gonna be a problem. The brand is a problem. When soon as they come, it's a problem. You know it's gonna be a problem. And then there's some people that come to the event just to see one person. They come to the family barbecue. When cousin so and so showing up, when so and so showing up, the party don't stop. The party don't start until somebody shows up. You want to be that brand. You want to be the brand that the event was created for. You want to be the one who there can be an event, but the event is not an event until the brand shows up. That's the brand. The brand is the energy, that which is intangible. It's, you know how they used to say it's so thick you could cut it like a knife?
Yes.
You want people to say your name in a certain room and then energy to come into that room just on the mention of your name. And don't be afraid to be controversial. Don't be afraid to be controversial. Controversiality is better than mundanity. Oh, yes. Confidentiality. I mean, not confidentiality, but being controversial is better than being confidential, the best kept secret. There's a lot of people that are good at what they do, but nobody knows them. Nobody knows them.
Yes.
They don't touch controversial topics. They don't speak loud. Like their brand is not, it doesn't attract attention. It's in a sea of sameness and nobody really notices it. It's calm. It's still, shh. And there's a lot of noise going on in the marketplace. So how can you as a brand differentiate if you're not unique, flavorful, and outstanding? You have to be phenomenal or be forgotten. As my man E used to say.
Yes, sir. Be phenomenal or be forgotten. You know, Shan, that sums it up. I think another very powerful, very arguably one of the most influential entrepreneurs of today's time. I think Steve Jobs. He said something about branding that I like. He said, "Your brand is what people say about you when you leave the room.
Yeah.
The way that you make people feel when you walk in and out of the room. That's the brand. That's the energy. That's the energy." But I have a question. That's so interesting. You know, we have different personality types. So not everybody is high energy. Some people are high energy, but they're calm. Like the energy is it's high, but it's very directed. It's very pointed. So my question is, when you talk about energy, can you elaborate? Does energy necessarily mean high energy, or is energy just different types of energy? Meaning, somebody could be calm, have a calm demeanor, a calm energy about them, and that could still be the brand, or be a very influential brand, or does somebody always need to have super high energy to stand out?
I like the question. What I'm going to say is self-awareness, right? Leadership development, leadership. You have to be aware of who you are and be authentic in your skin and comfortable in your skin. You got to know who you are and be comfortable with that. So everybody doesn't have to be loud. Everybody doesn't have to be like a firecracker bouncing off the walls in order to be the brand. The brand can be quiet energy, but still energetic, still energy. What do they say? Still waters run deep. So don't get it twisted. Just because somebody's not, up and lively, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is so this is me. This is my passion. This is my energy. I'm a super high king, knight, and D, right? So my energy is going to bust through the wall. I own it. I possess it. I'm not like shying away from it. So when your energy is what it is and you know it and you own it and you possess it and you walk it like you talk it and talk it like you walk it, then you're going to stand out in a crowd because you're authentic. People are going to feel comfortable around you because you're so down to earth, you're so real, you're so genuine, you're so authentic that people want to be around you more. You make people feel comfortable in their skin because you're so comfortable in yours. One thing that I found while working with entrepreneurs, especially in the first phases, was that people were not comfortable in their skin. They didn't feel comfortable being outspoken. Public speaking was fearful. For a lot of people, coaching people was fearful. Asking for the close was fearful. Marketing was fearful for people. Trying to close the deal was fearful for people because they weren't comfortable in their skin. And what we allowed and what we taught in the way, the dynamic way, the unique way that we taught leadership development along with branding is it helped them to feel more comfortable in their skin. And we started it off with the leadership chest test so that people would take an assessment and realize, oh, this is who I show up as. This is who I am, because leadership and authenticity starts with self-awareness. You have to know who you are. A lot of people are still trying to find themselves. And you always find the person and the people that's trying to find themselves because they haven't really got it yet. They're trying a lot, but it doesn't look authentic. They got little pieces of the last community they've been with. They're doing things that come from somewhere else. They haven't yet found their niche or their pocket yet. They're not in the pocket. You understand? Like they're not.
Yes.
They're not tight yet. They're not dialed in yet. They're a little bit off. And when you're a little bit off, people notice that frequency. And they just feel like something's a little bit off. And they say, you know what? It sounds good. It makes a lot of sense. I'm going to have to think about it. You never get the sale when it's a little bit off. You never get the close. You never get the impact. You never get the transformation. You don't even get the transaction when it's a little bit off. So a lot of people are trying to start their business, but they don't know how to show up in the marketplace. So no, the answer to your question, I went the long way around. So no, you don't have to be super high energy, but you do have to know who you are and own that and possess that. And that is high energy, no matter how it shows up.
Right. So what are you saying? And by the way, guys, I see we have some new people coming in. I want to say phenomenal morning to you.
Phenomenal morning.
I see, Mr. B. Can we bring up a few of these comments? Let's recognize some people who's in the chat here. I see Jackie Thompson. So phenomenal morning to you, Jackie. Hope all is well.
It reaches and touches people. That's right.
That's right. It reaches and touches people. All right. Good morning. Good morning. So this is Jackie right there. I see Shade Rivera. Okay. Good dawning greatnesses. Thank you very much, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Phenomenal morning.
All right. So, Shaan, we're about to go to a break in a while. Oh, there you go. Michelle says that was my thought about individuals' personality. So I guess she was referring to the question I brought up about the different personality types.
That's right. The new energy, let me just say that. The new energy is authenticity. That phenomenal energy is authenticity, no matter how it shows up.
Yes. Definitely. Guys, we're about to go to a break in a few seconds. But if you've been enjoying the conversation so far, I want you to do me a favor. If you're now coming in, hit the like button. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, definitely comment below and hit the share button. Sometime during the broadcast, towards the end, we'll be giving away some money. If you've been enjoying the conversation, also put some flames in the chat. We'll be back right after this break. Let's grow.
Let's grow.
All right, guys, welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Brand. If you're now coming in, please put some flames in the chat. Also, tag one more person that you know who needs to be here today. All right, so let's get Shan back out there, Mr. B. Yes, sir. You ready?
Of course.
Let me.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, so let me. You said something so interesting there a while ago. Um, it touched on self awareness, but that's so interesting. Last night I was driving. I got a missed call from somebody, and I called them back, and they were saying that, man, you're so consistent. It's like, I didn't want to pick up your call, but I had to call you back. You're so consistent. And I said, I was thinking about it for a while, and that is branding. And
That's
then me and
right.
the people, we sort of just started laughing, because every time I call them, I'm like, hey, I come with the same energy. It doesn't matter, like, it doesn't matter what happens. They pick up, don't pick up. It's like boom, the same energy, 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 energy. And it's like, eventually they're like,
Energy.
eventually
Energy.
they're
That's right.
like, they're like, you're so consistent. And I think about that, but I want to take that little snippet of a story and go into self-awareness. The reason why I can do that, a lot of people, they might feel discouraged. If you call somebody a few times, you don't get them, you feel discouraged. But I don't feel discouraged. I don't feel different. And the reason that I can do that is because of, to me, self-awareness.
Mm.
Because I'm talking to them, but I'm really talking to myself. I'm
Mm.
competing with myself, and I'm communicating with
Pin moment, guys. Pin moment.
guys.
Pin
Look,
moment. You're talking to other people, but go ahead. Who you
I'm
talking to? You talking to other people,
talking to
but
me. I'm talking to me. I'm seeing,
hold
what
on.
can I
Are
do?
you answering yourself? Are you having a complete dialogue with yourself?
Yeah,
I've heard
I'm
that might
talking
be a
to me.
problem.
No, no, no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, all right. I think, like, to really build a brand, you have to be able to communicate with yourself. When you say something,
Mm.
like, when I'm talking to you, there are two people listening. You're listening, but I'm also listening.
Mm.
Right,
Deep.
write that down.
Come on. Come on.
You're listening,
Come
Shan,
on.
but
Here we go. Here we
I'm listening.
go.
I'm listening as well to what I say to myself. Right. So when any activity that I'm doing, I'm competing with myself. So I try to say, okay, how can I come with more energy? How can I come with, despite whatever happened, like, I may not get the result I want. That's fine. What can I do now? Now, how can I put more energy? How can I come better? How can I do this? And I'm competing with myself, even if the end beneficiary is the other person. In sales, we call that commission. Commission is not money. Commission is a feeling that you get, or a benefit as a result of an activity.
Now, hold
Right?
on, hold on, hold on for a minute. I want
Yes.
you guys to pay attention, right? Because you saw the energy and the passion that I brought. I raised my voice a little bit because that's my conviction. That's my style of conviction. But Junior's speaking in a different tone. But what he's saying is equally as powerful and as convicted. That's authenticity and that's owning your energy. Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. So it's all about competing with you. Now, let's segue into branding and how that sort of relates. So, if you look at the 5W framework, it's all about self-awareness. It's all about knowing who you are, what you do, where you do it, why you do it, for whom you do it. But you could never really master the 5W framework if you haven't mastered self-awareness. So I want you to sort of talk about that a little bit, connect
Ooh.
self-awareness to the 5W framework, and paint a picture for the listeners as to how exactly that impacts branding.
Well, you could be stuck on who you are for the next 15 years. Real simple. Real simple, right? The 5W framework starts with who? Who are you? And then who is your ideal client? If you don't know who you are, then you can never be authentic. You're always going to be someone else. You're going to be a reflection of the last person you were with who had a powerful impression upon you. Some people are 55 and they still living with their mother's impression or their father's impression or their best friend's impression or their big brother's impression. And we know it. Like people who are in tune with themselves, we know it. It's easy to tell shallow. It's easy to tell disingenuous. It's easy to tell unauthentic. And that's why some people frequencies vibe and match and some people's don't. And some people wonder why they don't fit in anywhere they go. And some people wonder why no matter what they do, they can't be successful. And then you wonder why people who are completely opposite than you, sometimes you'll be like, well, who is this person? Like, why do they do what they do and they so comfortable in their skin? Why are they so successful? People wonder why people who they would say is unmoral or unscrupuled are massively successful. They're congruent. They're congruent, right? Everybody who shares your morals, values, and principles isn't always successful. And then you wonder why someone who shares the opposite morals, values, and principles is massively successful. And you're like, well, how did that happen? That happened because they were living in their truth. And you're living in your lie. And a lie can never be successful, especially when it comes across the truth. That's like light and dark. When you turn on the light, the dark leaves. And the dark can only exist where there is no light. So that's why inconsistent and incongruent people stay to themselves. And that's why mommy used to say that if you hang around 5 broke people or 10 broke people, you're bound to be the 9th. Or you hang around 9 of them, you're bound to be the 10th. And this is why you got to change your circle to become successful. Because it's only around people who are comfortable in their skin that you're going to become comfortable in your skin. It's only around people who are millionaires that you're going to be comfortable thinking and even wrapping your mind around becoming a millionaire. It's only around people that are scholarly and being, engaging in highest levels of scholarship that you're going to become a scholar. That's how it works. That's how it works. They say that good things happen or bad things happen to good people all the time. It's not really true. What happens is good people find themselves in the wrong place with the wrong people at the wrong time. And then the wrong people's fate happens to the good person. More often than not, because they knew they wasn't supposed to be there anyway. And their spirit wasn't at 100 with it. Their spirit wasn't at 100 with it. They knew they wasn't supposed to. So I put a post up the other day. I think it was last night. I put up a post. I said, life is beautiful. It might have been like 2 o'clock in the morning because I was up early. I said, life is beautiful. I said, I find myself waking up when I used to go to sleep. And I find myself going to sleep when I used to go outside. So around 9, 10 o'clock, I'm out because I got to get up early. But I used to be the kind of person who got up and that's the time it's time to go out. Like it's turn up time. Like that's when it gets popping or whatever, the club. That's when it happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's when it goes down. So, but watch this. You always had that voice in your chest that told you what you was doing wasn't 100. Before you knew what 100 was. Before you knew what 100 was, you knew what was right and what was wrong. And who was right and who was wrong. And when you go against your better judgment or your authentic self, because your authentic self has a voice. Your authentic self has a voice. And when your authentic self tells you to do one thing and then you don't, and then back to Junior's point, when you say something that's inauthentic or that you don't truly believe in, and you hear yourself say it, your energy drops. Your spirit drops. Your belief drops. And no one's impressed, and you become more and more depressed. So we're just going to stay on the first 5W framework, because if you can't get the self right, if you can't get who you are right, it doesn't make a difference who you're trying to talk to.
Exactly. And I tell people all the time, this is like 70% of the work. It's figuring you out.
It might be 97.
97. So guys, there you heard it from Shaan. It's 97% of the work.
The technical, the techniques, the mechanics is easy. The mechanics is easy. The me is what's hard. It's the me. If you get the me right, the mechanics is simple. The mechanics is simple. Watch this. Everybody knows how to lose weight. That's the mechanics. That's the mechanics. Less carbs, less sugar, more protein, more exercise, more sweat. It's obvious. Eat less, move more. It's that simple. The mechanics are simple. It's the me that got people yo-yo dieting and not being able to do it for the long haul and not being able to do what they know they need to do. It takes people a long time to smoke. I mean, long time to stop smoking, long time to stop drinking, long time to stop this, long time to stop that. Not because they don't know it's wrong, not because they don't know the mechanics. There's labels all around that say this and this and this will happen if you do this and this and this. The problem is, like Shay just put in it, it's the character. It's the character hasn't developed yet to the level of the knowledge. The knowledge is like, oh no, this is terrible. This will kill me. Living this way will be detrimental. However, the character hasn't caught up yet to what the brain knows. So it's all about the psychology. It's all about the me part. And that's the beginning of the brand. The beginning of the brand is authenticity. Authenticity. Being an author of your authenticity. Being able to pin your truth. Being able to speak your truth.
Yes, sir.
And exist in it.
That is not as easy as it seems. Not easy to say, tougher to do. Let's take a few of these comments. So, Mr. B, can you bring that back up? Let's just see what people are saying. So this is from Vlad. So good morning, Vlad. Shout out to Vlad. He says being authentic is more important than being loud and high energy.
That's right.
Yeah, of course. Know who you are and own that. 100%. 100%. Let's get a few more comments. Guys, by the way, if you do have any questions, this is a live show. This is not, obviously, I'm live. So you could just put the live questions in the chat. And we'll you know, the last time somebody asked me, do you pre-record the show? No, this is live. So if you put a question in the chat, if you put a question in the chat, we'll be able to answer. We'll be happy to answer.
We don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Like it's that live, and it's that real and that genuine. Like we don't even talk about it. I might say, he might ask me like, what's the topic going to be? Branding. That's it.
Yeah. I don't have any like questions, like, scripted questions or anything. So if you have a question, you could definitely put it in the chat. We're just, like you guys say in the US, kicking knowledge, So that's it. So Shade says success and character comes together. Yes, right. Let's see. So Ty says authenticity is true freedom.
It is.
100%.
It really is.
Yes, sir. Guys, if you're enjoying the show so far, put some flames in the chat. I believe we're due for a break. But when we come back, we're going to dive maybe a little deeper.
Let me just say one thing before we go to that break. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace is the new success.
Let's go. All right, guys, welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Brand. If you've enjoyed the show this far, I want you to do me a favor, put some flames in the chat. If you are now coming in, let us know where you're listening in from. We've been talking about branding. Shan, before we went to the break, we sort of touched on self awareness. My question to you would be, how can somebody begin to really tap into self awareness? How can they become to be more self aware? What are some strategies or tools or maybe even a philosophy that they should use to become more self aware?
Look at what Shade said. Shade said, let's go. Let's go. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, we got a shortcut, right? Just go to the website and click on that button. Discover your influencer brand and discover your influencer profile. Take the leadership chess test. It's going to spit it out to you. Right. And the reason why I say take an assessment, take a psychometric instrument, take an assessment. The reason why I say take an assessment is because of enculturation and ecological environment. So what do I mean by that? Ecological environment pushes and down presses expectation on people. I'm from Harlem, the old Harlem. I was expected to be a certain kind of way. I lived up to that expectation. It cost me a lot. I suffered a lot of consequences living up to that expectation. I was under the false belief that I was supposed to be the stereotypical young Black male in the wild. You understand? So I would say don't try to just stop where you are and concentrate on who you think you are and go through a discovery process without any outside intervention. Sometimes it will help to take some outside. And this is why some people find themselves on retreats. Look at every great philosopher or every great person of religion or vision, from Gandhi, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad. All of them left their environment in order to get the tablets, in order to get the wisdom, in order to see the bush, in order to get the inspiration. Everybody had to leave their immediate environment, myself included. So sometimes you have to leave your immediate environment, and it's so hard to do it in your immediate environment. And that's why you need a community of entrepreneurs to help you be successful in business as well. You need a community. And sometimes it's so beautiful now since COVID, we on what's the name? We on line. So it's so powerful online that we're able to form these communities, because if you don't have your community, if you're not born into a community, or if you don't come from a community where it's conducive to education and high levels of excellence, then 9 times out of 10, you playing small. You playing small. I was speaking with a young lady the other day. Matter of fact, it was yesterday. And young lady has a master's degree. A master's degree. And when I asked her what was her goal economically, she said $100K a year. If I could make $100K, that would be phenomenal. I'm like, well, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to do that. You ain't got to build a brand or a business to do that. You can make $100K just sending resumes in a blanket, and somebody picks up your resume and you can make $100K. So let's put a 0 behind that, or 2 zeros behind that. And then we can talk about how you need to stretch and grow, right? Because a lot of times you can't be excellent where you come from. So, or let me say this, if you don't see excellence, you want to try to find yourself where the seed of excellence exists. And sometimes it's outside of your immediate community. So if you're in that situation, sometimes you need to take what we call an intervention or an assessment. And then that assessment that you take will give you a different perspective on you, because it's from outside of the immediate environment. If you ask mommy, who am I supposed to be? I can remember the first time I got a job that paid me more than $50,000. My mother was scared to death. My mother loved me dearly. It wasn't no inbred hatred. Like, she loved me, and she was scared for me, because where she comes from, she could never see anybody being paid that much for anything. She literally said, Shaan, why would anybody pay you that much? And I had to leave that mindset. The place you might have to leave is not physical. The place you might have to leave is mental, emotional, spiritual. And the so interesting thing is that you'll leave the physical environment, take the mental, spiritual, and emotional environment with you. I'm gonna let that breathe for a moment. I'm gonna just let that breathe for a moment. You'll come from the wrong environment, find yourself in the right relationship with the right person, but be the wrong person in the relationship because you come from the wrong environment and you can't bring it with you. You can't bring it with you. And this is why high-level performers always put a high-level investment on what they do with people. Shh. This is why high-level performers put a high-level investment on the work that they do with people. Because you have to leave your environment of comfortability and familiarity. You have to come into a space where risk is rewarded as opposed to frowned upon and looked down upon. People don't invest in themselves because they don't see themselves as valuable. I don't care where you're from. That's your brand. Your first brand is belief, breaking away from convention and being able to believe in yourself and believe that you're valuable enough to invest 10K, 50K, 100K in yourself. That's the beginning of change. You see yourself differently immediately. Listen, I went to college online. But immediately when I saw the numbers, I said, ooh, I got to live up to the expectation. I can't fail. I can't fail. So it's not always a physical environment that you have to leave. However, if you're powerful enough, if your faith and your belief in yourself is powerful enough to transcend a physical entrapment to where it becomes mental, spiritual, and emotional, if you're able to make an investment that is in your benefit higher than you probably ever made before, you're breaking away from the physical environment and limitation, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. It's a spiritual, mental, and emotional job. That's why you feel all kinds of ways before you make an investment. Feel all kinds of ways like, oh my God, hold on, I never spent this much money in my life. But as soon as you do that, it don't make a difference where you're from. It don't make a difference where you're from. And that's why, in the proverbial prophetic word, Rakim, it's not where you're from, it's where you at. Right? It's not where you're from, it's where you at. It's really not. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at. So when you make that investment, you're able to transcend your physical limitation. And that's why you have people who are anti-typical, stereotypical. So stereotypically, people who come from my background and upbringing and environment supposed to be dead or in jail for life by 21 or 16 even. The fact is the spiritual, emotional, mental transition was taking place long before I left the physical location. And it has to be that way. So this is why you have to be able to make the investment to exist in a community of like-minded individuals who are trying to go for something higher, because if not, then where you exist, you might only go to the 9th floor in expectation, which is kind of where my mother was. She was at a place where it was like, if you make, 25K, you're doing good. You make 30K, you're doing good a year. We make 25K a month, 35K a month is a bad month. And that's what I mean. Where you can literally transform your entire life. And then watch this. The most beautiful thing is when people talk about breaking generational curses. When you do that and you have a different brand, then your children grow up under your children grow up under your example. And now they have a higher example to aspire to. That's branding. How do you impact people? What do you make? What do you remember what Junior said? It's the talks, it's the conversation that takes place when you leave the room. What's going on? What conversations go on in your head after the podcast is over? Because you done heard people talk before. But after this talk, you might look at things a little bit differently. You might go in the mirror, you're the same mirror, the same ecology, same environment, and just look at yourself a little bit differently. That's the brand. Can you do it for someone else? Yes, you can. Are you willing to? That's the question, and that's the choice that everybody has to make for themselves.
Guys, put some flames in the chat.
That's branding. What's the brand? What's the brand? Is okay? I think we're ready for the $100 question.
Oh yes.
Ready for the $100 question?
Yes. Let's do it.
To prove my point, the first person to put in the testimonial from Brian Tracy on my first book, The 7 Prerequisites to Success, will be sent $100. Put the music on, Mr. B. Wait, hold on. I don't know if you got that music. The first person.
Say the question one more time.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Say it one more time.
Okay, the first person that puts in Brian Tracy's testimonial on my first book, The 7 Prerequisites to Success, will get the $100. That's the $100 question. What was Brian Tracy's testimonial on the book? That's good, Shay, but that's not it. That's truth, but that's not the quote. Who's going to get the $100 bill sent to them?
I don't see any answers.
We only got 2 more minutes, guys.
Probably looking for the copy of the book.
I hope so. This should say everything that we've been talking about. It's the brand. What's the brand? And guys, if you want to continue this conversation, just reach out to us. We are always at ShaanRaiEast.com/contact, and we are always at support@ShaanRaiEast. Any questions, conversations, if you want to continue the conversation, if you want to continue to get, the tools that you need to transform both your life and your business, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you. Not just build your business, but also build your brand. And you can't build a business or a brand without building the foundational building blocks, and that's your life.
So let's repeat that question one more time.
Okay, no problem. So the question is, the $100 question is, what was the testimonial that was given to me when I began by Brian Tracy on my first book, The 7 Prerequisites to Success? Whoever puts the testimonial in the chat first gets the $100. Let's grow.
I see something from Michelle. That's not the answer?
It is.
Michelle got it again?
Michelle got it again.
Well, y'all gonna
Michelle got it again. Michelle about to make some bread with us. Michelle got it again. Okay, so wow. If you know who Brian Tracy is, Brian Tracy is a business consultant, business strategist, right? So I sent and this is a lesson in what I'm talking about, what I've been talking about the whole time. So this was when I had no money, no connections. I had a great, phenomenal job. I had some money from there, but what I consider money and what most people consider money is 2 different things. So I didn't have any money. I didn't have any empire building money. I didn't have any capital. I had a salary, right? A stipend almost to get back into work and be able to live while I did that, right? But I sent a PDF. I sent a PDF of my first book. As soon as it was edited and it came back to me, I self-edited it to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. And I sent it to a professional. They didn't do too much because I did a great job myself, but they sent it back to me. And when I got it, I saw myself differently. I saw myself differently. That was the brand. What I had done came back to me and I got to look at it and I said, wow, I did that. I saw myself differently. I sent a heartfelt testimonial, a true epitaph of who I was at that point to the people who had been influential in my life and business development at that time. So there were a couple of influencers. I won't name them all because all of them didn't respond. And that speaks to their brand. However, Eric Thomas's team reached out to me almost immediately. Brian Tracy's team reached out to me almost as immediately. I did not have the money to pay for these testimonials that I got on that first book. Let that be a lesson. It's not about where you're from. It's about who you are. The brand that you're building means everything. Authenticity means everything. I poured my heart into a cold email to both of these camps. Both of them responded. I sent them to other people. They didn't respond. They was probably, this kid ain't got no money. And they didn't respond. But who knew? Who knew, right? They knew. They knew. So Eric Thomas wrote me a 2-page foreword. Didn't know me from a hole in the wall. That speaks to his intuition, as well as integrity, as well as authenticity and humility. I always speak to it. I appreciate it. Will never stop appreciating it. And am always like in his debt. Like we connected. That's a mentor of mine. Brian Tracy reached out to me on his own and said, Shaan, I love the book. I want you to use this sentence as a testimonial on the book. And it's the one that Tracy just put there. He said, you learn how to unlock your full potential to success and happiness. It's not all about business. It's not all about business, guys. You won't get business success if you don't have the personal piece. You won't get professional success if you don't have the mental piece, the emotional piece. When I say peace, I don't mean Piece. I mean PEACE. And on the back of that, he said, go make $1 million. And I did it exactly about 3 years after he sent that to me. So I promise you guys, not only is it possible, but it's permanent. It's permanent. It's written. It's your birthright. It's yours to take. But it's not the other versions of yours to take. It's in the original, authentic 7.0 version of yours to take, right? And that's my piece, not my PIECE, my PEACE. And I hope it's yours too. We hope that you have enjoyed this edition of The Breakfast with the Brand. If you think it was phenomenal, please put your comments in there, tag us.
Yes, sir.
Shoot it out. Grab something, grab a quote if you can, send it out to your people, and just, because it's not easy trying to be somebody else.
Definitely. And before we sort of sign off, we do have some gifts that I wanna give.
Oh, great. We got more? I just gave away $100. You got more?
Not money, right? What we have is worth more than
Okay,
$100.
come on, let's go.
So if you're looking at this on YouTube, I think Mr. B would have just dropped a link in the chat. That link will actually give you a free copy of the 7 prerequisites to success. So grab that.
That's the book.
Mr. B, let's drop that on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. I think so Shade, Vlad, and everybody else could get the book as well. And also, we want to give you guys a copy of the leadership chess test
Ah,
assessment. So that could help you sort of begin cultivating or becoming more self-aware. So definitely, let's drop that in the chat on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also Facebook, so that
that's the
everybody can get
key.
their hands on that. So you have two gifts today. So you have the book, Seven Prerequisites to Success. You also should have the leadership chess test assessment. So once you see, if you see the link, in fact, let's do a quick check. If you see the link, I want everybody to put a number one in the chat. If you see the link on YouTube, also if you see it on LinkedIn, put a number one in the chat.
There it is. There it is. And let me say something about that real quick too, because it just, I reflect, right? And the first time that I found out about assessments at all, I'm sure they always took one of me. It came back with glowing red results, right? But the first time that I took my own and was instructed in it and learned about it, it was in my undergrad, Psychology 101. As soon as I entered college, maybe my second term, I was introduced to that. And the way I viewed myself has never been the same. It unlocked in me a passion to know more, to learn more, so I could do more, be more, and have more. So I could ultimately give more. And I learned this in giving more. And being able to give more allowed me to be able to live more, because the key to living is giving, and you won't have a clue the passion, the love, the understanding, the instruction that you could give until you know who you are. So it's not the what. Everybody's like, what do I do next? What do I do? What do I do? How do I build a business? Who do I, not who do I, but how do I and what do I? It's not a what do I and it's not a who do I question. It's a who do you have to be? And that's none other than yourself.
Yes, sir. I think we're gonna close off the show on that. Guys, if you've enjoyed this so far, I want you to put some flames in the chat. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. East, we have the Leadership Leverage community at 7. If you need a link for this, then just reach out to Shaan, wherever you may be, whether that be on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or on YouTube. Just reach out to us. We're all over the internet. Just Google Shaan
And
Rais.
that's a Zoom call.
Yes,
Don't
a
get
Zoom
like
call, by
that's
the way.
a Zoom call. So if you want to interact, like that's the place to go. This is the podcast. This is kind of one to many, but if you want to interact and get a little bit closer and have a little bit of more of a conversation and dialogue, that's the place where you want to go.
Yeah, and just to give people an idea of what's about to take place. So on the last one, I sort of promised everybody that I would sort of pull out something from the archives. People have been asking me about copywriting, and the psychology behind it. So I'm gonna pull out maybe a letter or two and just read through it,
Woo,
and and you already know,
woo.
dissect that.
Don't miss it. Don't miss
So
the
I'm gonna pull it
letters.
out, dissect it, and go over the principles and why these things work. It's gonna be very interesting. Trust me, you don't want to miss it, because that's not something that I do every day. The last time I did that was maybe like 2 years ago. So this is something that I'm just putting together for the people who who really want to learn about that.
We did something like that during a challenge. We did something like that during a challenge, and a young lady made 15K during the challenge. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
yeah, we did something similar during a challenge, and what we were able to give away during that challenge, the instruction and the information allowed the young lady to go that night and come back with a report that she was able to earn $15,000. So when we say we give stuff away for free, guys, I promise you, knowing yourself is worth more than $10 million. So that assessment we just gave you, utterly priceless. There's no greater gift than the gift of self-awareness. Mr. B,
100%.
take us out of here before we give away some more stuff. Before we give away the house.
Let's
Let's
go.
roll, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, take care.